I could not believe this was happening. Penn State, that has thrown in the towel, interim head coach, season's over, backup quarterback, Ethan Grunkmeyer's out there putting the number 2 team in the country on the ropes. I love this sport more than life itself sometimes. Because sometimes you just can't explain what's happening and you just have to sit there and enjoy it. Like Penn State losing to UCLA. Who lost? That was the only best bet I lost this week. I'm officially over 500 on the year. It has been a long journey to get here. I hope we can stay there. But the best bets went 5-1 this week. And UCLA was the lone disappointment. At home to Nebraska, backup quarterback. Good vibes win there for the Cornhuskers. But the Hoosiers find a way to get this done. Omar Cooper, this is an unbelievable catch. The only touchdown that Fernando Mendoza threw, his stat line looked very similar to the one he had, and the team scored just 3 points less against Oregon earlier this year. It doesn't always blow you away, and this applies to Dante Moore and what he did at Iowa, who we'll talk about in a moment. But Fernando Mendoza and the Hoosiers, situationally, going back to what I was talking about with BYU earlier, are brilliant. That game against Oregon, they won on the road. That was a tie game in the fourth quarter. Mendoza threw a pick 6 early in the fourth quarter to tie it. You were watching, I was watching, and most of us probably thought, oh, now Oregon's going to figure it out at home. They'll get the play. Okay, they got... Nope. Indiana responded. And Indiana gets down on the road against Penn State here, and they responded when they needed to. Their defense got the stop they required, and the offense goes down the field. And this catch from Omar Cooper, if you haven't seen it, I don't know what college football game you watched on Saturday that somehow, or what slate of games you watched that didn't include Indiana's near upset at Penn State. This catch in the back of the end zone to tiptoe as he did, simply incredible. The footwork required, and this is a skill that you don't hear get talked about in recruiting profiles or NFL draft scouting reports, anything like that. But this is a skill that some receivers have and others don't. Omar Cooper's clearly got it. The ability to toe tap in a tight spot, especially with the game on the line. When you are on the precipice of a shocking upset that throws your entire season up for debate instead of being in your own hands. It would have mostly been in their own hands, but whether they get a home playoff game or a bye, that would not have been, right? Unless they were to go to the Big Ten. It would throw a lot of doubt and uncertainty into it. To make this play in that spot, there might have been more difficult looking catches in college football this year. I'm sure you could find some. I don't think you will find a more tactically and situationally difficult catch to make than what Omar Cooper made. And in a game where Elijah Surratt didn't go, you have to be able to find a way to step up. This is why recruiting matters. This is why depth matters so much. Those can be generalized, overused platitudes in the offseason and leading up to a particular year, and you don't know if it's ever going to show up. And sometimes it doesn't because teams stay really healthy. But as I'll talk about with Oregon in a moment, it does indeed matter a whole heck of a lot. Having a number 2 option like this that can make that sort of play is a pretty awesome thing for Indiana fans to have. Now, this is a no vibes, you escaped with a win, avoided the upset sort of game. I don't know what Penn State fans did to annoy the football gods, that they can't have a single nice thing, but apparently they did something. I don't know what. Maybe they gave James Franklin too long of a leash, and they're just being punished for that, which seems unfair, but you know what? That's the way it feels, because they almost had something to hold on to from a disastrous season, and they don't have anything. Indiana's got Wisconsin. Don't sleep on them, I guess. Ask Washington. And then Purdue on the road. Yeah, they're going to roll, and they're going to go to the Big Ten championship game. They are going to play Michigan. See what I did there? I'm just kidding. They're going to play Ohio State, obviously. So they're going to play Ohio State, and I can't wait to watch that football game. It's going to be really, really fun. I think you're going to have a couple of 12-0 teams in Indianapolis this year. So speaking of depth, Oregon went to Iowa, and without DeCorian Moore, their leading receiver, Kenyon Sadiq, their number one future NFL tight end, Alex Harkey, their right tackle, and several other players, questionable or limited, found a way to win on a last-second field goal. And this was just a Big Ten classic at Kinnick. And Oregon deserves a lot of credit for the way they figured out a way. It's probably too late, and I should go to bed now, but just give me a couple minutes on this. They deserve a lot of credit because I was down on Iowa coming into the year. And yeah, this is a bad vibes outcome, maybe even a worst vibes outcome for Iowa, for Iowa fans, depending on who you are, because you're not going to the college football playoff and you had a chance. Your defense was on the field, up by 1, at home, tough weather. It's the perfect stereotypical Iowa spot. And then Dante Moore throws an absolute laser, seems like too broad of a description, so why don't we say fine point laser? Does that work? To Malik Benson, Oregon kicks a game-winning field goal and rips the hearts out of the chests of tens of thousands of Iowa fans at Kinnick. I was wrong on Iowa coming into this year. I was down through the first couple games. I thought, this is the Iowa team I expected to see. I don't think they're very good, but they have played some good football this year. And they went up against an Oregon team that I think is really good. I don't know if they're national championship good, but they're definitely playoff caliber, and Iowa was right there. And I have called into question whether Kirk Ferentz should continue being the guy for the Hawkeyes. And I think those questions can be asked, but there are a lot better answers in the affirmative of yes, he can still get this done because of performances like this and the offense taking tangible strides forward. More need to be taken, but a lot of good things have happened for Iowa this year, and they can still end the season at 9-3. I think they'll probably wind up at 8-4. I think they'll lose at USC next week and then win their last couple games of the season. But for Oregon to find a way, the depth at wide receiver came up big. A true freshman made a catch on the final drive to go win the game. A redshirt freshman made 2 catches on that drive. And a guy who was featured a lot early in the year and hasn't been featured as much lately, bunch of injuries popped up, boom, you got to find a way to step up. And Iowa's offense actually made the drive in this game. Mark Gronowski made a couple of big-time plays, and it was the defense that couldn't quite come through. And that's a strange place for Iowa fans to be, but they deserve credit for the way that they have taken tangible steps forward and addressed. They're not all the way there, but you know the defense will always be good as long as you have Kirk Ferentz and Phil Parker in place. And the offense strides. Last year, better than the year before. This year, better than last year. They have moved in a forward direction, and they deserve full credit for that. And Oregon deserves a lot of credit for going on the road and winning, because that's a good Iowa team. Not a playoff team, but a good Iowa team that was ranked for a reason. And I don't think they're even falling out of my top 25 after the loss, because 2 of their losses are by a combined 7 points to top 10 teams, one of whom is the number 2 team in the country. So that's how we wrap today's show. Plenty more coming tomorrow. Washington upset by Wisconsin. What in the world? Jed Fish just can't coach away from Seattle. Does that make him not Florida's next head coach? Tune in tomorrow to find out. Appreciate everyone listening. I'll see you next time. Until then, hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day.